Hello, good morning. Welcome to Planet AP. If you're new here, it's pretty crazy out here, but you're gonna love it. Today, well, it's Love Day, as you all know. I am honoring that with a red shirt. I usually almost religiously wear black on my channel, and I noticed that the other day, and I was like, oh, girl, you need more colors. And then this just felt like a perfect opportunity. So happy Love Day, Love Month. And in honoring that, I'm going to talk about love today. I'm very excited about this video because this is something, when I recognized this, when I learned these things, it made me realize that I had been approaching relationships and love and all of those things so wrong for so long. And so it would leave me feeling so frustrated. It would leave me feeling like, why doesn't this person want me? Why are they not obsessed with? I would always be so obsessed with people and they just didn't want to be with me all too much. And I think, but I'm a catch, right? So what we're going to talk about is love or familiar. Is it love, or are you just feeling the tingling sensation of a familiar energy in your body or familiar chemicals in your physical human body? And this, especially a manifesting your SP edition. So for those of you who don't know what an SP is, I was actually shockingly one of those people until very recently. I was like, what is an SP? Everybody's talking about it. And it was like, specific person. Oh, okay. And this is especially for those people, by the way, who, of course, everyone is welcome to watch it and the vibes are very open here. But if you are someone who is manifesting a specific person or someone who's commented under one of my videos about how to manifest an SP, or you've DM'd me about it, or you've emailed me about it, or you're just like, Anna, this guy is engaged to another girl, but I just know he's my SP. How do I manifest him? Now, I read a lot of the things you guys said, and I was like, oh my God, like, I need to make this video. I need to talk about this because I used to think that way. I used to be like, I just need to do some manifestation voodoo because I misunderstood what manifestation firstly even meant. But that was the idea that I need to manifest them and control their energies to like bring them in my life, because then that means I did it. Like I whatever, right? So anyways, today is all about love. And one of the cool things that I want you guys to notice is that I got more colored markers. Look at the variety of colors over here. There's purple and there's pink and there's just a lot of colors going on here, and I'm very proud of it. So we're gonna start. I wanna give you a disclaimer before we start, is that it is about to get real honest here. So brace yourself to hear some truth, because I'm gonna keep it real with you. And I will keep it real with you because I love you and I care about you. And when someone else kept it this real with me at one point, I may not have really liked to hear it at that point. And then later on, it was like, oh my God, you are so right. Start to reflect back at your life and you're just like, how did I not catch this, right? How was I unconscious to this? So this is the kind of honesty that we deserve to honor ourselves with, and you deserve for me to honor you with. So just a disclaimer, all right? And we're going to start off at where it all ever begins. Not the beginning of creation, but the beginning of your human physical life. Birth, baby years. So we're going to start here. We're going to rewind all the way back to your baby years. Now, when you were 0 to 7 years old, remember, we talked about this at the ages of 0 to 7. That is where your conscious mind, your logical thinking, analytical brain, which tells you that I like black and I don't like green. I do like green. But that part of you, that identity part of you that questions stuff or whatever has not yet entered the picture. So the movie has just begun and the main character isn't here yet. So everything that's happening around you, by the way, by main character, I obviously meant your analytical mind, and that was a joke because your analytical mind should never be the main character in your life. Anyways, so now for 7 years of your life, you're just absorbing everything that's going around you. You're seeing your parents' dynamic between each other and with you. So, how they treat you and how their relationship is within themselves. And right now at that age, since your logical mind hasn't yet developed, you create through that observation your map of love. So now you look at this, and let's say mom and dad are always fighting, maybe. Let's say they're divorced. Let's say that they are always yelling at you instead of, maybe they don't fight all too much within themselves or in front of you, but maybe they're always yelling at you and you're always feeling threatened over there and you're always feeling like something's always wrong. You're on the guard. Your entire nervous system is living in survival at that young age. Now here's what happens, right? Okay, let me give you an example. Let's say that you're at a restaurant. You're at a restaurant and you're meeting someone for the first time. And now you're having a nice meal together, and then that person just starts yelling at you out of nowhere. As an adult, you have the choice to go like, hey, I don't like your tone, sit your tushy down. Or you could say that to them, or you could get up and you could walk away, right? You could call the waiter and have them escorted outside. You're like, I don't like the tone, right? You have options. And if you're too weak or whatever, maybe someone else fights for you. But there are so many options for you in that moment. Now, when you're a kid and you're in a house where your parents are just constant, again, not to say that we are blaming them, that they were doing parenting in the way that they knew best. And the greatest gift of learning all of this and expanding our awareness about this is that we not only get to forgive them and heal that part in our own field, but we also get to learn who we do want to be for our future generations. What is the legacy that we want to carry on through them? Is it that of pain and trauma, or is it that of kindness and love and mercy, right? So they, by who they were being, they just were playing their role for your own expansion, right? So coming back to this, now as a kid, parents are constantly yelling. And every time someone would yell at you, what happens in your nervous system, your fight flight gets activated. You go into survival. You go, and there's this insane amount of chemicals that are generated throughout your body, right? We will just boil it all down to, let's say, stress. So stress is released, adrenaline is released, and your body is preparing you to like fight or flight, right? But if you're that young and you can't go anywhere, and you can't stand up for yourself, you're basically going to freeze. And you're just like, oh my God. And you're living with that fear, the fear of God in your heart, not in a good way. You're just like, any moment, hell could break loose. I don't have to slip. I always have to be hyper aware, and I have to be anyone other than myself. And whatever, obviously, there's so many different dynamics that play out, but commonly it's control. Commonly, it's maybe perfectionism. Commonly, it's maybe that you only if you get the good grade will you be loved, right? Or only if you're the most well-behaved kid will you be loved. The moment you just like you get overly open about your joy and your excitement and all of that, you get like yelled at. You get punished for it. What did you get punished for at that time, right? And if you keep getting punished and punished and punished and punished, and your nervous system learns at a very early age, remember your brain is still developing at that time. It is not fully developed, right? So the neural pathways are there and the connections are there, but as you grow older, the brain continues to develop. Now, here's a fun fact that I learned that blew my mind away. It was that genetically, our brain has the potentials for the way that it develops. But once you're out in the world, it actually develops in collaboration with your environment. And so now your brain is constantly getting the signal that it is unsafe for you to be like at homeostasis. It is unsafe for you because remember, There's the fight flight response, your survival response. It is supposed to be like a system that gets you going, protects you in that moment, saves you or whatever, and then you're out and then you're calm again and your nervous system regulates again, right? So it's like if you go to a forest and there's a deer and the deer is just chilling, eating grass, doing what a deer does. It's just having time of a life. It's like, and then it goes like, oh my God, I am about to get eaten alive. And it sees a tiger running towards it. Fight flight gets activated. See, deer starts running and running and running. It's like, I gotta save my life. And in that moment, the zebra is like, not a zebra. The deer is like has more energy, right? That system gives it that energy to run faster, and the tiger is coming faster. And eventually, let's say the deer escapes that tiger, and it gets to another point, and 20 minutes pass by, and now the nervous system regulates itself, and the deer is calm again, and it's chilling, and it's having grass again. And it does not ruminate over what just happened 20 minutes ago. It won't just be like, oh my God, that was horrible. I could have died. No, it's chilling, right? But with us humans, what happens is that our emotional imprint, they leave a mark, they leave a scar. You almost get branded in that moment when something that big happens, and it shakes your nervous system where you're just so afraid. And when it's happening constantly throughout your childhood, now what happens is that your brain gets the message that it is not safe for you to have a regulated nervous system. So now there's an insane amount of stress chemicals going on in your body at all times because you're always afraid of messing up. There's a kid I know, and when she was younger, she was this bright and open and expressive and loud little girl. She didn't care what people said. She didn't care how they perceived her. She was just herself. She came in the world with this curiosity, this wonder, awe, this joy, and she was so open. She would say whatever was on her mind. She was fearless. She was brave. She was that girl, right? And I recently met that kid just a little bit ago, and she's, I don't know, she's maybe 8 or 9 now, and it was just not the same kid. She was like very like put together, and her word count had limited. She would barely speak, and she would speak very calculatedly, and she was afraid. Like you could sense the fear she was living with, right? She was holding herself back because that's not a conscious choice she made, right? But it was what her unconscious picked up, learned, and made her embody. Why? To protect her from the pain of rejection. So during those years, her definition of love became, okay, I just got to do whatever I need to do to get accepted by the people around me, by the adults around me, by my parents, so that they like me. If I do the right things, I will get love. If I play by the rules, I will earn love. And so she's constantly disowned her authenticity, but she's playing by the rules. She's behaving like a little girl is supposed to behave. Man. And that definition sticks, right? So over here, 0 to 7, what was the map of love that was created? Was it that love is something to be earned? Was it that control equals love? Was it that you have to be perfect to be loved? You have to not make mistakes. You have to be agreeable. You have to be a yes man. You have to take crap from the other person without complaining. Was it a push and pull dynamic? Was it that you had to prove yourself? Was it compliance? Was it fighting for attention? Was it chasing? Was it silencing your truth? What was it? What did love feel like? And for a very long time, I did not know what love was for me. What did not my conscious mind, what did my unconscious define as love? Not what you think is right or what you think it should be, but what was energetically stored in your body. And the way you get to that answer is by simply asking yourself what happened. When you were a kid, what was going on? What was the theme? What happened? So I'm gonna tell you guys a few questions. Let me just write this over here. So I'm gonna tell you guys these questions right at the end. I wrote that here because I know my new spicy brain is gonna forget. But look at this, right? Look at this map of love. You carry it in your life, in your adult relationships. And so, for example, if you thought love is something that I need to fight for, now you're an adult saying, oh, my SP is someone who is engaged to another woman. So, how do I manifest him? Because obviously, your mind says that's love. You got to fight for it, you got to earn it. You never learned what unconditional love feels like, what it felt like, what it's supposed to feel like. The essence of love is very inviting and accepting, and it says that, hey, you're good enough as you are, you're worthy as you are. Hey, if you mess up, it's okay. Hey, you're human. Hey, I'm not going to yell at you because you made a mistake. Hey, you're not wrong, we're on the same team. And when we don't know what that's like, what happens as an adult is this. Now, this is you as an adult. Let's say you have got two options here. You've got that of a healthy partner who's there to love you for who you are, okay? And then you've got a toxic childhood familiar dynamic. Maybe someone who says, if you want my love, you have to change everything about you. When you change and when you bend like spaghetti and I can mold you and fold you into whoever I want you to be, that's when you will get my love. Now, if you, when you were a kid, grew up with parents who were constantly telling you that you need to bend to their will and be control. Look, it is good for parents to guide their kids, right? But it gets toxic when the kids are not allowed to have their own sense of individuality, or when that individuality is shamed and shunned and just they're insulted for it, or they're just berated for it, right? So now you're like, well, obviously, if it's coming easy, if someone is loving me for who I am, I cannot have that because they are faking it. They're faking it because that's not what love is. And this is not happening consciously. This is happening unconsciously. This is happening in your energy, in your body, because your body has associated that insane amount of chemical cocktail that you had experienced as love when you were a kid, when you would do the right things and you would literally been given like a drop of love, like candy, like here you go. And then the next time you make a mistake, it's all taken back. Like, nope, you're a bad kid. I don't love you. You upset me, whatever. And so you got addicted to that dynamic of pleasing them, of earning it from them, of like abandoning yourself for them. And so as an adult in relationship, now you go to this guy or this girl or whatever dynamic, which feels familiar like this. This familiarity is what energetically is what you resonate with. There's an energetic resonance that you have here, which feels like love. They feel like home and there's sparks and you're like, oh my God, that's my person. And I have had conversations with people who will be like, they will be talking about an absolute, no offense, but butt wipe of a person and be like, no. And even in the story, they're saying that person is very clearly abusing them or mistreating them. And they're like, no, 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 but that's my person. I just know it in my heart that I love them and I'm supposed to be with them, whatever. No, you don't know it in your heart. You know it in your definition of love, in your biology, in your chemistry is just not right. So you're mistaking that for love just because it feels familiar. So you start to chase and attract familiar because that's all you've ever defined as love. So you're like, oh, they feel like love, they feel like home. But my question is, what did home feel like growing up? What did love feel like growing up? Who did you have to be loved? These are three of the most powerful questions I can give you. What did home feel like growing up? You're saying they feel like home? What was home? Because if home was abuse, if home was a lack of safety, if home was a place where you were always on guard, then honey, that's what they're representing to you. It's not peace, and it's not a safe place to land. It is a place to feel unsafe at. So before you attribute that, and I've learned one thing in my life, it's that the one person that should always feel like home for yourself, and not the home that you learned or you were conditioned to feel like home as, but home as in safety, home as in peace, home as in my guards are down, home as in vulnerability, home as in softness and gentleness, is you. You gotta redefine home for yourself before anyone or anything else. I'm not saying you don't heal or don't be with someone or whatever. I'm saying before you start manifesting a partner in your life, ask yourself, do they feel like home as in safety or home as in what I'm familiar to? Because if they're really my SP or whatever, why are they sleeping with my friend? Why are they going around screwing their boss? No, you don't have to make excuses or justifications for them. Ask yourself, why do I want to be with someone who's never choosing me? What happened when you were a kid? Did you feel like you were never chosen? Did you feel like you had to fight to be chosen? Think about it. Did you feel like you had to constantly fight to be seen? And so now in this adult relationship, you're fighting to be seen, and you're like, no, that is my person. Of course, that's what love is, because that's all your body knows chemically. But just because that's how the energy or that's how the chemicals make you feel doesn't mean it's right. You gotta take these thoughts and beliefs and everything to court. Be like, okay, let's talk. You're telling me this person who does not even want to choose me, who does not look at me and look at me like I'm enough as I am, and who wants to change me and mold me and shape me, they're my partner for life. Oh no, they just don't know it yet. Stop underselling yourself. God created you as a worthy human being. And when we fall asleep to our worthiness because we were taught or whatever experiences we've had, we think that that person has something that they can give us. But nothing they give you will ever heal whatever it is that you're whatever it is that you're trying to do. And the greatest part of it all is that we always have access to pure, unconditional, unlimited love. And the way to know it is through knowing who is the controller of your breath. God. Has it ever happened that you sinned or you made a mistake or you screwed up basically? And God was like, all right, cut the oxygen cord in this one. No water for you today. Nope, she will not get food today. No. No matter what you do, no matter where, no matter what, there's always that oxygen for you. There's always the water for you. There's always the food for you. There's always blessings for you. And so if you're like, I don't know what love feels like, honey, look at your life. You don't even know how the organs are functioning in your body, but they are functioning with such precision that they're keeping you alive. You don't know how your lungs operate, of course, unless you're a doctor. But point being, you don't know the inner workings, but they're still working. You don't have to be worried about it. You don't have to stress about it. It's all taken care of for you. How could that be if you weren't worthy to be alive? But when you give away your worthiness to another person, you constantly tell yourself that I don't deserve it. I don't deserve a love that feels unconditional. But you already know how to accept it because you're accepting it from receiving it from God at all times, whether you were aware or not. But you are, because otherwise you wouldn't be standing here. You wouldn't, right? So when you then meet a person with a healthy energy field, a secure partner who has a very different dynamic, you go like, oh, the sparks aren't there, right? So you got to redefine love. You got to redefine home. You got to be aware of what love used to be and what it now is. That's the most important thing. Your SP isn't the person who doesn't even value you. You gotta pour into you. You gotta fall in love with yourself and God. That is the way back, because that's what's gonna make you magnetic. That's what's gonna be like the thing that people will be drawn to you. And you gotta like understand and wake up to the fact that you deserve to be so loved. You deserve to be so valued. You deserve to be treated with respect, with kindness and compassion and mercy, and just for someone to be obsessed with you in a healthy way, for someone to want to take care of you, for someone to want to be there for you through thick and thin, for someone to want to honor you, for someone to want to be better with you. You do not, just because of all the gunk that you went through, all the experiences, no matter what happened up until this moment, right now you get to decide, I deserve better, and you know what? I'm going to give it to myself first. Pour into you. Pour into you and you become magnetic. People will be like, oh my God, I just want to give you the world. I want to love you so much. Why? Because you are loving you. When you pour in, people pour into you too. But when you're not pouring in and you're just like, no, please, I want your love, that needy energy, nobody likes it. So even if you're trying to manifest or whatever, you're so attached. And remember, one of the things we talked about in essence of manifestation was you got to be detached. You got to surrender. But you're like, no, Anna, I know that guy. He just doesn't know it, but he's so in love with me. Shouldn't the person who is meant to be your life partner be in love with you, want to see you, want to text you, be excited to call you? Shouldn't they want to make plans with you? Shouldn't they always want to see you? Shouldn't they just like want to do things for you? Because that's what you deserve, right? And so when we get so insistent on, no, this is what I want, God probably has an apple farm for you. And you're like, no, I just want this apple. And it's a rotten apple and it smells. And you're like, I want this apple. And God's up there like, there's an apple farm for you. Take it if you want. But you're like, I want a rotten apple because that's what I think I'm worth. Nope. No. No matter who you are, no matter what you've been through, no matter the mistakes or trauma or any single thing that has happened, forgive yourself. Ask God to forgive you. And then move on. Move on and decide, you know what? I'm healed, I'm worthy, and I deserve to be treated well. I deserve to be treated with respect. I deserve to be treated with whatever you want in a partner, and then start giving it to yourself, pour into yourself. And by the way, I didn't forget, because I saw it right here, the questions I was telling you earlier, the 4 questions. So you're going to answer this. If you want to understand, well, what was the map of love created for me? Well, what happened firstly? Just like take some time, put on a candle or something if that's your vibe. Take a journal. Tell everybody to not come into your room. Start writing. What happened when I was a kid? What happened? What happened? Period. Write whatever comes to you naturally. That's what happened. Don't add your version of it. Just like period. Like this is what was going on. This is the scene. You're just writing the scene right now. Question 2. What's your story about what happened? So this is where you go like, okay, well, XYZ was happening and I felt like I wasn't enough. I felt like I wasn't worthy. I felt like I didn't matter, blah, blah, whatever your version was. What's the neutral truth? Number 3. So now you know what happened. Now you know your story. Now come to the neutral truth. Not the, oh my God, like, ooh, you know, a hyperly positive truth, but just the neutral. Look at the other side of the story. What could have been going on with them, right? Get to the neutrality of it. All right, number 4. And now, once you've done all that, and you can choose to either, because this is a longer process. It's from my unreleased second book, How Long Will You Run? Obviously, it's coming out this year, but I am just so excited about it being launched that I just can't stop giving you guys stuff from it. But I have a whole process in that. It's called Closing the Loop of the Familiar. Anyways, so now what happened? What's your story about what happened? What's the neutral truth? And finally, in that process, I've created a forgiveness process before you do that. But I'll just tell you the 4th question, right? And then just go like, well, what do you want to believe instead? What could be a better truth to believe in, right? What is a better way to look at it? So now this is where you reframe it. Because remember, everything is meaning. Meaning is everything. And meaning is self-created, because perception is player's choice, right? Perception is deception. So you can use that to your advantage. whatever happened, whatever the story was, whatever the neutral truth was, now reframe it, write it better than it was. So how did it serve you? Maybe for me, it was that all of that happened to bring me to this wickedly beautiful present moment where I have this fire in my heart because of it. I have the desire to serve. I have the excitement for it. I have the joy for it. It makes me like all of that pain gave me pressure for my own awakening. It gave me pressure to just come out here and serve and just get to share the magic with the world. Because without that, without knowing pain, I would not be able to teach this stuff, right? I can't teach what I don't know. So I had to go through it. I had to, and I'm so grateful I did. So I wrote it better than what happened, wrote the better version of it, the better meaning that I wanted to give to it. Reframing our past helps a lot, right? And then you want to do this. You want to redefine love for yourself, redefine home for yourself. And remember, you are worthy. You're pretty freaking incredible. You are the luckiest human alive. You are God sent. You are God's gift to the world. You are because you are. And you deserve to be with someone who sees you, who loves you, who values you, who understands you, who wants to pour into you the way that you pour into the world. You deserve a love that feels calm to your body, to your nervous system. A love that literally tells your body, hey, it's safe to slow down. A love that you can regulate yourself with, a love that you can learn with and grow with. And you deserve a love that stays and a love that chooses you every single day. So happy Love Day. I don't know if I'm going to be able to, because it's, I don't know, 8-9 p.m. right now, so our love day is almost over, but I'm gonna see if I can post it tonight, and if I posted it tomorrow, which is 15th, right? So I mean, love day is every day when you are the vessel for love. I love you. Once again, if you want my free quantum leaping transmission, then just grab it over here in the link below. There's a PDF with it with guide that has questions to assist your quantum leap. If you want a 21-day plug and play process for shifting your reality overnight, and that includes, yes, literally shifting your energy when it comes to love as well, go to the second link below if you want a one-on-one call with me, which is called your activation, where we can do this or any other reality shift that you're looking to invite in your life. And I'm going to create a personalized rampage for you post-call as well. You can go to the third link over here or second. I don't know what's the order, but just grab the links, grab the stuff, have fun. I love you. Let me know what you think. And if there's anything specifically that landed for you or you would like me to make a video about next. And of course, your questions are also welcome. I love you. I'll see you in the next one. Bye.